Do women, when it comes to this aspect of opera in particular, do they get judged in a way that men do not?
But of course. I mean, we've heard countless stories, certainly very recently, about a designer designing a dress for a performance without ever having seen the person that is going to sing the performance. And therefore choosing rather to have someone that's going to fit into the costume rather than someone who's going to be able to sort of actually sing the role. And that is something that is so misguided.
You mean casting directors now for female parts are prioritizing the look and the appearance more than the quality of the voice?
Very often. I wouldn't say always. Thank goodness that is not true always. But it certainly happens enough that it makes the papers, as it were.
Talking of making the papers, I don't know if you saw it, but there was a big furore in this country recently when a young and talented Irish female opera singer was criticised for her performance in Rosenkavalier. And the basis of it was that, and these are quotes from some of the newspapers, she was a chubby bundle of puppy fat. She was stocky. She was dumpy. Physically, she didn't work in the role.
What do you mean she didn't work in the role? Do you mean she didn't sort of look good in the dress, which could have been designed for her and could have been made to look good? Anybody can look good in anything.
I just wonder, I suppose my point is, and this did create a huge storm inside the opera
I mean,
world.
that is personal and unpleasant.
Yeah, I mean, one reaction from Alice Coote, who's a mezzo-soprano of some standing, she said, you know, if we start to judge performance on appearance like this, it will be the death of opera. She said opera is all about the voice. But you're saying something slightly different.
I'm saying that it's about the voice, but it's also about suspending belief. You need to be able to look and listen and understand the portrayal of a character and not assume that the person that is in that dress has to sort of look like the 16-year-old that might be singing Salome or a person of a certain age that might be singing Rosenkavalier. Who's decided that the person singing Rosenkavalier should wear a size 0 dress? Who's decided that? Except the person who's designed the costume without seeing the person that is going to wear the costume. Because I promise you, anybody, it doesn't matter what the shape is, what the size is, can be designed, be given a costume that is designed to flatter that body. And unless designers are willing to do that, then perhaps they should work in other fields.
Yes. One of the critics who was criticised for his own criticism of the Irish singer, he fought back and he said this. He said, opera is a visual as well as an oral experience. It's a form of theatre. It is 75% about the voice, 25% about the ability to act well.
And who is he to decide that, please? Or she? Who is he to decide that something is 75% voice and 25% something else? Why isn't it 40, 60%?
Did the critics infuriate you throughout your career? I just wonder how you respond, you know, to critics who take a stand on something that you've worked so hard on, that is, you know, so much an expression of your personality, and then they feel free to write this sort of stuff.
Well, they might write it, but darling, I don't read it. I don't need it. I know whether or not I have done on stage what I intended to do that night, that evening, that afternoon. So whatever I am able to do, I am giving all that I'm able to do on that particular night. And if it doesn't suit somebody who is sitting there not having paid for their ticket to be there, and they find it not to their liking, what does it matter? Who are they? They're not my friends. They're not from my family. They're not people who work with me or coach me or have been in any way influential in my life. So why should it matter what that person says?
A different aspect of the world that you chose to work in, classical music and opera, is, some would argue, snobbery. A snobbery about the art form being higher than other musical forms.
And I don't believe in that. I truly don't believe in that. I say so often and with such joy exactly what the Duke Ellington said about music years ago, that there are only 2 kinds of music: good music and music that isn't. And some of that good music was written by Beethoven, and some of that good music was written by George Gershwin.